Today is Thursday, December 9th, and welcome to Slow Home Studio.
My name is John Brown, and this is Matthew North, and today we're going to be following up on our practical sustainability segments by answering another one of our viewer questions.
Yeah, and our viewer this week is from Yakima, Washington.
David, and he writes in his question, "Hello, John and Matthew. I want to thank you for your report last week about plumbing fixtures and toilets. It got me thinking about other areas in a house to improve the environmental ratings. And I was wondering what can be done about the lights in a house. Maybe you can do a segment about this one too. Thanks again, enjoying the site." Well, yes, we can do a segment about this one. Matthew's been going and doing some research and taking the practices that we use in our practice, and he's going to talk to you a little bit today about some of the choices that you can make.
Yeah, I always start by looking at the LEED manual because it's very helpful and it helps guide us through when we're doing our design work for our projects at Housebrand. And so lighting falls under the energy and atmosphere section. And the prerequisite from LEED for construction is ENERGY STAR lights. So install at least 4 ENERGY STAR labeled light fixtures or ENERGY STAR labeled compact fluorescent light bulbs, CFLs, in high-use rooms. So it's a pretty easy level to achieve with new construction. We'll talk about it a little bit for remodeling. And then the next point is you get credits, okay? So you get increased points through the LEED system, the more fixtures that you have as ENERGY STAR fixtures, or the more bulbs that you have.
Right. It is important to know that an incandescent bulb is a very, very inefficient way of generating light. Most people know that already, but it really is.
Generates a lot of heat.
Generates a lot of heat and is just not very effective. And so simply switching out the fixtures does a lot, and anybody can do that.
Yeah, exactly. So there's interior lighting, and then the same works for the exterior lighting. So the more bulbs or fixtures that you change, the more points you get. And then you can also have an advanced lighting package, which LEED says is when you have 60% of ENERGY STAR rated fixtures, hardwired fixtures, and 100% of bulbs, then you get even more points, and that works for inside and out. So the question always is,
how do you know that they're
ENERGY STAR? So pretty easy. You can go to energystar.gov, which is the website that is the rating website for all of the available ENERGY STAR products that are available in the US and Canada. And you can actually look them up, and they will tell you whether they're labeled ENERGY STAR. And this is really critical because there are tons of fixtures that are coming into the market all the time. And so it is a good idea to double check and make sure.
And I think what's important with LEED and really is important to cut through the greenwashing or the sort of marketing hype of environmental concerns is to make sure that there's some sort of third-party verification of what you're doing. And ENERGY STAR is a well-recognized system for being able to make decisions with confidence about a piece of technology. And ENERGY STAR relates not just to lighting, but through appliances and all sorts of things. Today we're just talking about lighting.
And so, so generally with the bulbs, so if we're going to just focus on the bulbs for a minute, we're going to be looking at LED bulbs, and we're going to be looking at compact fluorescents. There are other types, but these are the most common. So this is something, this is what you would see if you go to Home Depot and you're going into the bulb section, and you can see the different types. Now the issue is that now the actual what we're used to is we're used to looking at wattage for bulbs. We're used to looking to see 40 watt, 50 watt, 60 watt. Now it's like you've got a bulb and it's 7 watts. So you think, okay, LED bulb, 7 watts, useless. I don't want to use that. That's not true. You have to be more educated now when you're comparing the different types of bulbs. And
it's basically a conversion system. It's like metric and feet, right? It's not that big.
Exactly. So there is lightingfacts.com, and this is a website. And in 2011, they're going to be introducing almost like a nutrition label for bulbs. And what that is going to do is it is going to tell you in plain English what the comparables are between different bulbs. So you can actually see how much brightness there is, what the longevity of the bulb is, and it'll help you understand it a little bit better, because when you look at something that says 7 watts, you think automatically it's not going to be very bright. That's not true.
And brightness isn't everything.
No, it's not, and we'll talk about that in just a sec. So what makes a good bulb? Well, the efficacy, so the amount of brightness that you get for the energy used is one very important point. So when you compare incandescence and fluorescence, you have to look at that And there are tables that you can look at on the website that I just talked about earlier that tells you what the difference is between the two types of bulbs. And fluorescents tend to be fairly bright. I mean, that's something that's not an issue. Life expectancy in terms of hours of the bulb is another issue. Compact fluorescents have a much higher lifespan than incandescents and halogens, but they're about half of an LED light, which is interesting. There's an environmental issue. Compact fluorescents do contain mercury, and there is some debate about the actual environmental long-term effectiveness of that.
Particularly in terms of disposal.
Exactly, or if a bulb breaks, there's some question about that. Control is another issue with bulbs. Interesting, both LED lights and compact fluorescents are available to be dimmed. However, they don't work in all applications with all types of fixtures, and so you have to know that. And then, of course, there's color, and this is what the lighting is actually going to look from a design point of view, and it's really important because there's...
And I think that's probably the biggest shock that people see as they make the shift from incandescent to a different kind of bulb. Because when the whole world was nothing but incandescent, we never thought about it.
Yeah.
Light was just light, and all we needed to worry about was the power. Was it a 75, a 50, a 100-watt bulb? Suddenly, when you add in different types of bulbs, they have different color temperatures, and so you'll see some of them will cast a blue tinge and a red tinge, and it can really make a difference and affect the quality of the light.
And that is a huge point because color temperature is actually what the color of the bulb is going to look like when you look right at the fixture. So it ranges from, from very blue to very red. Now, we know that incandescents had a warmer tone. They were more in the red zone. The LED lights and the compact fluorescents are cooler, and even if they say they're a warm fluorescent, it's not the same.
No.
So then the other issue, of course, is color rendering, and that's what the light actually does when it reflects off surfaces like your face or off a table. And we're used to incandescent light, which is really kind of warm. LED lighting and compact fluorescents are a lot cooler.
Yeah, you can see that right there, even more so on the background, right? It's a kind of blue tinge to things.
Yeah, so we know that incandescents and halogens, from an environmental performance point of view, are not going to be continuing in the long term. They're never going to be Energy Star rated. They've come out and said that it's not possible. They emit too much heat. They don't last long enough. There's a whole bunch of issues with them. So we have to go on to the other types of bulbs. Fluorescence is the first one. Pros with fluorescents, they're inexpensive. They're readily available. They're you can get them no problem. Cons, there is that issue about mercury. It's not I should say it's a debate because it's not a proven fact whether they're toxic, but there is that concern about it. And also with compact fluorescents, certain applications are not advised, and they're difficult to use in pot lights because they do generate some heat, and the bulbs can break. They're also not as readily dimmable as some of the LED fixtures, and they're not always recommended for outdoor use. With the LED lighting, which is a light-emitting diode, that's what LED stands for, and you can see I put a little...
Just so you know, that's what a diode
that's what it is. Yeah,
and then that's the fixture that the diodes go into.
Yeah, it's basically housing and connections. So the pros are there's no mercury. They have a universal application, so they can go in any type of fixture just depending on the end, and they last really about 2 times longer than the compact fluorescents. The cons are they are more expensive. They're quite a bit more expensive. And the availability is still somewhat limited. They're not as common, say you go to Home Depot or Safeway or a grocery store, they're not as common. So these are some examples of what LED lights look like. So they come in all different types. Pot lighting, like ceiling fixtures, all sorts of types. They're also developing an organic LED, which is using an organic compound to actually form the diode, and it's flexible, so they can make lighting that is stretchy and long, and I'm not sure how that all happens, but it is an interesting thing. So from a practical sustainability point of view, when you're looking at lighting, what can you do right now in your house that you currently live in? Well, you can change all of your bulbs to Energy Star rated CFL or LED bulbs. So that's the first thing you can do. Yeah. Pretty easy to do, and you can do that right away.
And if you can't afford to do them all, then start doing them one at a time.
As they burn out. Yep, so that's what I do now.
But you will, if you do that, you will really notice a difference in the color. Yeah. If you do them all, at least all of them in a room at the same time, you won't, the color rendering won't.
That's a really good point, because if you've got like 6 lights in your kitchen and 2 burn out and you put the LEDs in and the rest are halogen, they're going to look crazy. So it is a good idea to do a whole area all at once. So then what can I do if I'm building new or if I'm remodeling? Well, in your new house, you can start with all Energy Star rated compact fluorescents or
And
LED
that's an
bulbs.
important thing to tell the builder, and to make sure that it's written into the specs of the contractor whenever you're working, because the electrical contractor will supply usually the fixture with a bulb. And you're going to go, and the first time you're going to go in, say you've got 60 fixtures, there's going to be 60 bulbs there, and they're going to last for however long they're going to last. And if you've gone ahead and not specified it, then you've just gone ahead and wasted 60 bulbs.
Yeah, that's a really, really good point, I think. And then the other thing too is you can also take it one step further and do the Energy Star rated fixtures themselves. So that's the housing that is actually hardwired into your house. If you use Energy Star rated fixtures, you're going to get a longer improvement because the fixtures are designed to marry with the Energy Star bulbs, and you're also going to have more options in terms of dimmability and all sorts of other stuff. So that is our practical sustainability points on lighting.
Well, I hope that helps. And David, if you have any other questions, you can certainly let us know. Tomorrow, we're going to be introducing this week's design project. It's for Marilyn in Kingston.
Yep.
And we're going to be helping her, you're going to be helping her with her master bathroom, bedroom, and study.
Yes, so see you tomorrow.
See you then.